Okay.
All right. Well, look at the,
I was wondering. Yeah, my other device was being weird, so I'm just going to use this one if that's okay.
hey, I don't have a problem. Julie used a phone in her car, so you know, there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay. Your audio is kind of delayed. I don't know if mine is, so if you could let me know, that'd be great.
You sound normal to me.
Okay, you're better now. Your voice, it was weird at first, but now it's better.
Well, welcome, Chrissy. Folks, this is Chrissy Helmer. She's the owner of Echo Chic Life, lifestyle store in Vacaville, California, and a customer of mine for O2Armor, and I'm honored to have you on board. Why don't you tell us about you and your store and your inspiration for that?
Yeah, so we opened 10 years ago in the worst time of the economy. And before organic and sustainable and all of that were kind of more known, our store is very similar to the concept of a Target, except for everything USA made and give back and holistic. So the first couple of years were definitely a little bit rough because back then, before Pinterest and Instagram and all of that, people didn't have access to the knowledge they have now. So I was always inspired to start something that was an all-in-one where I wanted to shop. Like I couldn't find anywhere that I could go that had all of those values and that had the community around those values. So that was really my inspiration in the business, as well as wanting to make an impact on our community. I believe in making an impact in the place that you live.
And what kind of products do you guys have?
So anything in the category of organic, sustainable, and holistic. We are a paleo, keto, Weston A. Price type of store, but we have clothing, gifts, anything in beauty, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, makeup, skincare. We have a baby section. We have a home section. We sell air filters and water filters and laundry detergent. So again, very similar to the concept of a Target, except for those that are USA made and holistic minded.
And how difficult is that to find USA made and endless stuff for your store? Has it been a challenge, or is it?
It's not easy. It is a challenge. And actually, this year we've had a brand with us for 8 years, and they're an amazing family owned company. We love them, and they're actually a give back company, which a lot of our companies are. But unfortunately, they've just been moving more and more and more to China, and we don't do that. And so I've had to tell them after 8 years, and this is also a top 10 brand of ours. So it's not a smart business move on my part, but I believe in principle and conviction above business. And so we had to let them go. But yeah, it takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to find not only USA made, because even though it could be in the USA, they still could not have ethical or sustainable or organic practices. So it does take a lot of time to find the right brands in our store for sure.
And when did you start your store?
10 years ago, 10 years ago next month.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And and as you said, businesses have a lot of challenges, especially small businesses. How are you able to weather this COVID thing and still survive and thrive?
Well, number one, we believe in the Constitution above any pandemic or anything along those lines. So I believe that we should stay open and that we should, rise to the occasion of those challenges. Again, because we're an essential store, we have local farm, raw dairy and eggs, and again, toothpaste and deodorants and, those types of things. But also, I think by having values and principles, that's why we're able to celebrate 10 years, because we stand on certain core beliefs that we are not willing to compromise, even if that means losing an account, or if that means a customer doesn't align with that value, which is unfortunate. We are going to stand on our principles and our values, which those two strong things are always going to be faith and freedom. And I truly believe that that has really set us up for success. And we really have tried to keep everything as normal as possible in the middle of all of this. So we're very different in that sense.
Okay, so part of this is you're actually an essential store because you have food and you have things that people need all the time anyway, so they
Right.
allow you to stay open,
Mhm.
and which is great. What are some other things that you're up to? You have your store. What are some other things that you are doing? Because you listed a lot of things like your motivational. You're into activation, authenticity, and transparency in everything you do. You're a voice of motivation, truth, and inspiration. So how do we get to see you on that? I mean, we're seeing it now, but there's other things you're doing. What are those?
Yeah. So a couple things. I wrote a book. I have two books actually. So they're both on holistic health and all of the lifestyle things. Really big into alternative health. So I have a bunch of remedies instead of using things that are over the counter or pharmaceuticals. So that's a big one. I also have a podcast and I talk about faith, politics, freedom, all of those types of things. I have really great guests on, like business owners. Of recent potential political candidates, things like that. So between the book and the podcast, those are really great ways that people can connect or following my Instagram accounts, whether that's my personal or my business. Also part of a organization that is trying to help businesses reopen or stay open. That's really important because I believe a big part of what we've seen in the last year is an attack on small businesses. It's an attack on Main Street. It's an attack on USA Made. And so we like to empower businesses and citizens to shop, to have choice, and to remain open and to take a stand for our constitutional rights.
So how do you do that? Is that all done through mostly your podcast right now? And how often are you on?
We have at least 3 episodes a month. I
Okay.
do a live video at least 3 times a week and talk about all of these current events and have prayer and different things like that.
Mhm.
We do have a website. It's called unitesolano.org because that's our county. There's also placerfreedom.com and sacramentofreedom.com. Those are all in my area of California. And
Mhm.
so we have different events, we have business meetups. So we do things in person as well as online as well.
So you have your products are a lot of holistic and healthy. What are
Mhm.
how did you get inspired to do that originally?
So I've actually been in holistic health for almost 15 years. So
Okay.
that's why I wrote a book on health.
Uh-huh.
I was a health educator. So that was a big part of my life already. And it was just taking the concept of what I was doing. I was a health educator at local hospitals, birth centers. I actually was a childbirth coach and a childbirth educator for years, working with midwives and herbalists. And so it's really taking all of those things and kind of merging them together. Just found that I've been practicing holistic medicine, like I said, for 15 years. I have 3 kids, and all of us are radically healthy, no needs for antibiotics or over the counter things. And
Right.
so between eating organic and following those practices, we just see incredible results. And we believe in preventative medicine versus waiting until the thing happens. So taking care of ourselves on a daily basis to set up yourself for success.
And how many hours a week do you work on your business?
Wow, that's a lot. I would say 7 days a week, actually 6. I'm pretty good about, trying to unplug one day a week.
Hmm.
But when you own a business, especially a brick and mortar store, there's always something, right? I mean, we're open 7 days a week. So even if you're technically off, you're not off. I still run the ins and outs of our business, which I truly believe is another reason we've succeeded. 10 years ago, my friends that owned a business, they said, if I could give you one piece of advice, don't ever relinquish your books to anybody else. Know your numbers, know your inventory, know every single thing. And so I took that to heart, and we've been able to remain debt free. I'm 100% the owner. I don't have any partners. I don't owe anybody. And I really believe in debt free living, and not just personally, but in a business sense, so that you truly can succeed and be a blessing to others.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. Um, so where do you see yourself? And well, actually, let me go back to that. So you work.
Sure.
How's that work with that? Talk to us about your work life balance, because you have 3 kids. You have a job that's 6 to 7 days a week. And how do
Mhm.
you homeschool? Do your kids go to public school? How do you work all that?
Yeah, so I have 3 kids. One of them is in college,
Mhm.
and one of them's in high school, and one of them's in grade school. And I do homeschool. So we don't do Zoom school, screen school, any of that. We homeschool. I'm a bit of a eclectic slash unschool style.
Mhm.
That can sound extreme to some people, but
Not to me.
we do homeschool 4 days a week.
Uh,
Okay. So we use a bunch of different programs. So it's not like, oh, yeah, we just do this one thing. I obviously, as an entrepreneur, my kids are very strong leaders, very entrepreneur minded, and we believe in feeding life skills, communication skills, emotional intelligence, those types of things as well. So I do homeschool. Thankfully, I have such an incredible supporting cast. My husband is so helpful, such a great partner, such a great dad. I could not do what I do without my husband. So that's first and foremost. We have great parents and in laws. I have a great staff. So it's not like I'm out here doing everything. I don't believe in that. I really believe in balance and taking care of yourself, taking care of your family. And I do schedule that, and some people may be like, oh, wow, how do you make time for a massage? How do you make time for this? Well, if I don't get a massage, if I don't go to the chiropractor, if I don't work out, I'm not going to have a successful family and business. I have to take care of myself, and I have to get breaks from going 100 miles an hour. So, do homeschool, but I have help with that as well. So my husband helps, my mother-in-law helps, my aunt helps. So when I'm at the shop, I do a little bit of homeschool in the morning, and then I head off to work. We also just try not to be super rigid. If we've got to, like right now, I told my kids, hey, go handle this and this. We'll talk when I'm done. We just try. This isn't public school. We don't need to sit in a chair for X amount of hours and prepare for a quiz,
Right.
So little bit different of a lifestyle, but we truly love it.
So it makes it actually gives you the flexibility for you to be successful, doesn't it?
Absolutely, it does. And I'm not I am against public school. I'm not going to hide that or lie about that. But I do think there's some excellent private schools, excellent charter programs, and I
Mhm.
get it's not for everybody. Not everybody has help. I understand that. At the same time, my older son did go to a private high school because he played sports, and you can't, that's just important if you're going to do college sports. So it's really, I say every year each kid has an individual thing, but the public education system, I do not believe is setting anyone up for success. That's just my personal conviction.
Cool. Let's see. We have. Um, is there any other piece of advice or do you have for women in their work life balance?
I think two of the most important things to success, a few things. One, if you're doing what you love and what you're gifted to do and what you're passionate to do, there's going to be a lot of grace on it. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean there's not challenges. So that's the first thing. Second thing is you've got to have help. I have no shame in having help. If that's, I order dinner once a week from our paleo restaurant and it gets delivered. Yes, I cook a couple nights a week too, but what are ways that you can make your own life easier? If you have in laws, if you have neighbors, if you have, family, if staff. So I get the right people to help. That will make such a huge difference in your life. I really believe in time blocking. I love time blocking. I love a method called 20-20-20, which is where you dedicate the first hour of your day screen free. You get a 20-minute workout, a 20-minute prayer and meditation, and 20 minutes of learning or reading. And that is a really life changing practice, I believe. So having that first hour in the morning set apart very early, and lots of preparation, if that's meal preparation, if that's using time blocking, anything you can to be successful and to be flexible, I think is really important. those things also avoid burnout. So many people fail in their business. They don't manage things well. They don't get help. They don't really love it. If you're doing it to become a millionaire, yeah, that's probably not going to work out. You need to look at what is the impact I can make on people's lives first, including my own family's life. What is the legacy I can leave? And I think if you are impact minded, purpose minded, influence minded, the rest is going to follow.
Mm-hmm. You've talked about leadership and whatnot. Was there any? Did you? How do you define that? And where do you think you learned that?
I do love leadership. Actually, I've been a city commissioner. I've led different organizations. Obviously, when you run a business, you're a leader. There's so many different things, but I don't think that leadership is a title. I think leadership is an attitude. And just because you have a title or an office doesn't actually make you a leader. Just like Elon Musk says, just because you have a degree, it doesn't make you smart, right? So you could have a degree and be an idiot. You could be a leader and be a jerk. So I believe that leadership comes a lot through example and mentorship. When I was about 16, I had somebody older and wiser come to me and say, "Hey, I see a lot of leadership potential in you. I want you to come do this John Maxwell course." And I was like, "That's dumb. Who's John Maxwell? Why do I even want to go do this dumb leadership thing?" But I was like, "Okay, let me check it out." So, I think leaders are lifelong learners. I'm constantly reading books, going to leadership things, trying to make sure I'm investing because I want to be a healthy, strong leader in my home, in my community, in my business. And I do think leadership is really empowering other people. It's not about you being the boss or you being in control. Leadership is really, again, about that example and about that legacy and delegation, and how can you partner with people for impact and influence.
So it's win-win. Is that how you live your life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you have any challenges with that ever at work and at home?
I mean, I think at home, there's always challenges, no matter what your dynamics of family is. Family is worth the fight. Marriage is worth the fight. Business is worth the fight. But it takes time and it takes conflict and it takes challenges. And that's all part of it. And so many people quit or give up, at the moment of adversity. And adversity and failure are parts of success. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if I didn't accept challenges and adversity and failures and betrayals. And, there was years I wasn't on payroll for my business for years. So, I've had employees steal from me, betray me, copy me. I mean, we could have a whole podcast about all of the challenges within having a business in itself, right?
Right.
I've had landlords from hell. I've had, all of the things that you think could happen, but we have to look at those challenges like upgrades. How am I being upgraded in my leadership? How am I going to be upgraded and elevated in my mindset and how I move forward and how I do things with integrity and character, and not letting those things make you bitter, but letting them make you better.
Yeah, that's amazing. Hey, so you've been in business for 10 years. What are some of your customers say about you and your business? You probably get a lot of feedback.
We do get a lot of feedback. 2020 brought us troll feedback. So we've got cancel culture that has a lot to say about us. Unfortunately, they've hijacked all of our review platforms because we are, God-loving patriots. And so that's brought out some interesting comments of people that don't shop with us. But for the most part, our customers and our community, they are truly friends and family, and it's very old school mercantile. You come in, you get your milk, you get your eggs, you get your toothpaste, you have a conversation. I've seen customers go from single to married to first baby to second baby, and that's community, that's family.
Right.
So I would say that our customers would say that we're their community and they're ours as well, and that we've made an impact on their health. We've had a lot of people They've had cancer, they've had autoimmune diseases, they've had undiagnosable, unexplainable health issues that modern medicine could not help them with, that we've been able to help them with. And it's made a massive impact on their life. And that makes everything worthwhile. For people to be able to walk in somewhere and be able to ask any question, to have their kids run around, to know that it's a safe place where they can breathe oxygen, they know the brands that they're buying. We put a lot of time and effort into. I think it's pretty rare these days to find that. And we're just normal mom and pop people,
Right.
so you're going to find me maybe in some tennis shoes and t-shirt. We're not this corporate, vibe. It's very like you're coming into my home, and we've worked really hard to make our store feel like a home and a family to people.
So it sounds like that's basically your why you do it.
Totally. And those connections and relationships, and for people to have a place to go that they can get solid connection and solid resources and build community.
Right.
People are everything. That's why one of our taglines are people over products, because at the end of the day, people matter most.
Right. That's fabulous.
Yeah.
Do you see any, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, number one, that's going to depend on what happens, I think, in our country. I really think it's going to depend on how many of our freedoms and liberties are we going to keep in our country, first and foremost. So my answer would have been a lot different if this was previously, not 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's going to look like, as far as, are we going to be Venezuela? I don't know. Am I going to be in a bunker homestead somewhere?
So you have,
That's our
you have
country.
a little uncertainty and a little bit of concern about the future. If that wasn't the case, where do you see your business? I mean, say all that stuff wasn't happening.
Yeah, it's I try to take things a year at a time and not project too much. My goal at the end of the day is, are we making an impact on people's lives? And whether that's one person or a million people, did I serve the one person in my store well? Did I serve the one person in my DM or on my podcast well? What am I doing with the one in front of me day to day? Obviously I'll be in a different phase with my kids for sure. But I'm not here with a grandiose, like, oh, I want to have 5 locations. I want to have a worldwide. I'm very about being rooted and being consistent. And if we can make the best community impact here, and have longevity, I think that we don't see that a lot. You don't see families and people and businesses staying. We're so quick to want to just
be there,
change it or end it. Yeah. So I think that I have such a value for consistency and deep roots that I'm like, gosh, I just want to say we're still standing strong. We're making a big impact. We're going to continue to be people's go-to. People switch over from hitting up Target every week to coming to our store every week and building that relationship. So I'm hoping we see more people get healthy. That's our number one, because your health affects every other part of your life. So that's always going to be our top priority, is to make sure that we're partnering with people for them to be their healthiest, best self.
Yeah, that's great. Hey, we're in the last 5 minutes. You want to talk about your offer a little bit, and
Sure.
if there's anything else you'd like to chat about, and see if anybody has.
Yeah, sure. We can take some questions. I'll just run the offer really fast. So we're going to do free shipping. That code is bunker. And we're also going to do a free little gift to every person that orders using that code. So I put a couple little things together to send off with some orders. So we're really grateful for any of that that comes across our desk, and we'll be getting those orders out. So again, free shipping and a free gift with purchase. So we'll be doing that. Like I said, we are a brick and mortar. So if anyone's in the area, we love meeting people face to face and having those conversations. But we also do custom personalized shopping through Instagram, which a lot of online stores don't. So we will do video, we will do voice text, we will help you pick out things, answer questions. So you don't just need to go scroll a website. You actually can talk to me and talk to my staff, and we're going to give you a personalized shopping experience. So that's something that we do a little bit different than others as well.
That's really cool. I've actually not heard of that before. That's amazing.
Yeah,
And
we love it and people love it, because who wants to just sit and scroll a website? You just get all overwhelmed and you're like, do I need this one? Do I need that one? So we really like to send photos and speak to, hey, I use this. This is what my son used. This is what I would suggest based off your circumstance. Let me send you a video. Let me shoot you a voice text. So again, it just comes down to that very old school personal mom and pop type of shopping.
yeah, and I just wanted to remind you that allergy season's coming up, and you have a product on the shelf that's pretty good for that.
I do. Yeah. So we've got lots of those in stock right now, actually, and lots of other things for allergies as well, like herbs and nose sprays and all kinds of other things.
Yes. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it works out this spring for people, because it's super effective, the O2Armor, and I'm sure your sprays are just as great. Let's see, do we have any questions yet?
Yeah, happy to take any questions from anyone on anything health, anything business, any of that. Happy to discuss.
Yeah, I'm really actually the business part of it and how that grows and how you connect with your customers is so critical. And
It's
that is kind of
huge. It's
part of
huge.
leadership, is being connected with people.
Yeah, and we're missing that so much in our culture. We're so we don't sit and have long coffees. We don't sit across the table. We don't, it's very rare. Where can you walk into a store and ask a bunch of questions and have someone walk you around? Our culture is so like, just get it and get out of here and try to avoid interaction. And we're just quite the opposite of that. We want to get to know you. We want you to get to know us. We believe in building trust. Again, we believe in building lasting relationships and having lasting impact. And 10 years ago, even still, people say, why aren't you just online? Like, just get an online store. It's so expensive to have a brick and mortar. Gosh, you could make so much more money if you were just online. First of all, I will die a slow death if I have to stare at the computer all day. So that's first of all. Second of all, it's not the same. And I'm not knocking online businesses at all. I get that that's the model for a lot of people, but for what we do, that is truly a mercantile, old school apothecary, we want to be with people. We love people. We love hugging people and smiling at them and interacting with them, regardless if they buy something or not. And I just believe that's so lost in our culture that I'm like, have this rebellion in me to say, we need to gather, we need to be together, we need to create community and relationships, and we need to form alliances, and we need to change our city, and we need to do that by being together in person.
Excellent. Well, I think we can do that at Echo Chic Life. And Chrissy, thank you so much for joining us today. We need to go to the next speaker, Liz Marshall. Yeah. And thank you so much. And we will chat soon about how we can work together for that community.
Absolutely amazing. Thanks for having me on today.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye.